What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Micro Futures Trader YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing what is a stock chart, kind of breaking down the basics, giving some of my thoughts on different areas of the charts. More of a beginner video, but maybe it'll shed some light for more of those seasoned investors. So today we're going to be looking at the stock chart and kind of what's going on the chart and kind of how to read it. Maybe it'll shed some light for some of you who perhaps are a little bit uncomfortable with stock charts and kind of how to look at them, and maybe help those out who kind of don't have a clue what's going on the chart. So to kick this video off, on my screen right now, what you're looking at is I'm on a website called tradingview.com. TradingView has a ton of stuff you can do on their website, but one of the most easy and basic things you can do is just view charts of different stocks or cryptos and just keep track of them on a daily basis, or maybe look up a price at the top of the screen up. I think I have it in the recording. It should say tradingview.com, but that is the website. So let's start off over on the upper left-hand side, kind of where my arrow is pointing there. So you'll see at the top left, it says SPY in the arrow. It doesn't go all the way up there, I don't believe. Yep, there it does, right there. SPY in like a dark blue. So that is known as the ticker symbol. So stocks, futures, cryptocurrencies have something that is known as a ticker symbol or a trading symbol. And SPY is the S&P 500 ETF Trust ticker symbol. So tracks the S&P 500. It is an ETF and the ticker symbol is SPY. But up in that left-hand side on TradingView, you can type in anything you want. So I click that box and then I'll get another box that pops up. And in here, if I want to go look at the futures, I can click that box, or if I want to look at bonds, or I can go to all. I'm going to go to all. I'm going to type in the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ ETF. And you can see that pops up, gives me all of these colorful bars on the screen, which we will get into. But I just wanted to show you that you can, if you want to look up like the Dow Jones, for example, that also has a ticker symbol. But we're going to go back to the SPY. So we'll click our upper left-hand side of the screen in that box, and then we'll click on all here. We'll get rid of the QQQ. We'll type back in SPY, press enter. And we're back on the S&P 500 ETF Trust. So that is kind of how you would navigate up to your left-hand side there on TradingView. Type in your symbol. If you want to look up ExxonMobil, or something like that, Chevron, Philip Morris, they all have their ticker symbols. And you can click up there and type in kind of what you were looking for. If you don't know the symbol for the stock you were looking for, I believe you could search up there. You could always go to like Google Finance or do a quick Google search, ticker symbol for whatever company it is that you were looking for, and you should find an answer quite quickly. So that is a little rundown on what a ticker symbol is. Like, for example, going back to this before we leave the ticker symbol area, is Warren Buffett, has Berkshire Hathaway. Well, Berkshire Hathaway has, there's different segments of Berkshire Hathaway, but they all have different symbols. Like, for example, Apple has its own symbol. And, Netflix or McDonald's, they all have what's known as a ticker symbol or a trading symbol. It's not just, or as I should say, it's usually not just the name of the company. Like Walmart isn't Walmart spelled out. It's WMT, I believe. Double check that. Yeah, so Walmart is a WMT, which would be Walmart stock. And here's all of the data, which we're going to get into in a second here, of Walmart. But we're going to go back to the SPY. Okay, so that is that. So on the screen, I have what is known as a candlestick chart. That is the type of chart I have up here, a candlestick chart. And that represents all of these green and red bars, that perhaps look like candles on a cake on the screen. It's known as a candlestick chart, and it represents each candle. So if we go to this green candle right here, which is the 24th of February, that candle, just that one candle, represents the price data for SPY on that day. This example, it is the 24th of February. And this one candle tells me a lot of things. This one candle, which represents the 24th of February, it tells me the open price of the stock on that day. It tells me the high of that stock on that day. It tells me the low of that stock that day. And it also tells me the closing price of that stock on that day. And if you look up in here, you see my arrow up there. I should also note I am on a desktop computer. I'm not on a tablet or anything like that. That data up there, you have the O right here for open, the H for the high, L for the low of the day, C for close. And then over in here, you have the change, the amount of change for that time period. And then the percentage will be next to that. So if we go back to the 24th of February and you look back up to where my arrow was, you'll see the open was 411.02. The high was 428.76. The low was 410.64. The closing price for that day was 428.30. That day had a change of up $6.35, or it was also up 1.5%. So all these colorful candles on my screen represent the price data for that period of time. And what I mean by that period of time is this is a daily chart. So what that means is every one of these candles, whether it's green, red, represents one trading day of data. So that is a daily chart. Now you can make this any time frame you would like. I use a daily chart, but you can use a weekly chart. You can use a monthly chart. You can use a 3-minute chart. And all that changes is these candles represent a different period of time. So let's jump off of the daily chart, which is what this is. Let's go to a different time frame. So back up to the top where we were before when we typed in SPY. Let's go over to where it says D, and that D represents my time frame area. So that would be, I click that box, it drops down, and you can see I am on the 1-day chart, which means each candle on my screen represents 1 days of data. Let's go to the weekly chart, which is right below that. And now this represents, each candle now is 1 week data. So instead of it being 1 day before, it's 1 week's of trading. And let's go to the 13th of June for the SPY. And it tells me the open, high, low, close, the change amount for that week, and the percentage amount for that week. So the percentage amount for that week was down 6.14%, or 23.94. The close was 365.86 for that week. The low for the week, 352.17. The high for the week, 383.90. The open for the week, 379.85. So that gives me the data for that week. So that is a weekly chart. And it all depends on what you are looking for in a stock and why you would choose a certain time frame. For most people, the daily chart is going to give them all the data they need. It gives them every day's data for X amount of time. So let's go back up to the top. We'll go back to a daily chart. And I should mention that you can choose any time frame you would like, but to keep things less confusing for those who are perhaps newer to the market or stock charts, I would recommend just sticking to a daily chart. It keeps it simple. It represents 1 day's of data, and the next day data. Looking back and moving forward, I would stick to that. So we are back on the daily chart. I also want to make mention to, down at the bottom of this screen, you can see there's dates, or I should say there's months, and then there's year dates. So if we look basically right there, I don't want to cover it, but you can see it says 2022 over to the right just a little bit. Right here, it says 2022, but I covered it up. So that is the start of 2022, which is right. So it looks like January 3rd was the first trading day of the year 2022. And it basically marked the top of the market for the year. We're on month number 7. We are in July 5th today. So you can choose any amount of time frame you want for your chart. So you can look at a 1 year chart. You can look at a 1 day chart. You can look at a 10-year chart. The neat thing about TradingView is if you zoom out, I'm zooming out with my mouse right now, I can get data going very, very far back. So if you look at my screen now at the bottom, you'll see we kind of lost our months, but now we have years because we're so far zoomed out. So without losing our most recent data, you can see we have data just about back to 2004 all the way up to currently, which is 2022, the 5th of July. So not only can you change the time frame on your chart, which means you can have a daily chart or a weekly chart like we just mentioned, you can also choose what your bars represent. So for this example, it's 1 bar equals 1 day's price action. And then we also can have this going back, a daily chart going back to 2004 or whatever year you would like. If I click and drag over, I can get more data going back into the 90s. And it looks like that is going to be it for SPY. So if for some reason you would like to view the last X amount of years, 3, 4, 5 years, you can kind of just zoom out and get a general idea of, perhaps which way the trend is going. Most of the time, though, you just kind of want to see maybe the past couple weeks or the past couple months or maybe the past year, maybe 2. And that'll be, generally good enough for most people. Unless you're doing some back testing, then you'll probably want to go back years, if not many years. So I'm kind of just zoomed in here, and we can see on the screen for SPY that down at the bottom, basically my chart goes from May in 2019 up to currently, which is the 5th of July in 22. So that is a quick rundown on the chart. We have ours on the daily chart. So that means each candle represents 1 day's price action, the open, the high, the low, the close. the dollar amount. So, whether it's up a dollar or down a dollar for that day, and then the percentage as well. That's what these candles will show us on this chart. So on my chart, I also have this. It's like a blue line that's kind of flowing below or above the price. So that is what's known as a moving average. Moving averages can be any time frame you would like. Popular moving averages, which is on my screen at the moment, is what's known as the 50-day moving average. So this line flows and has data that represents the previous 50 days of price action, and it's an average of that. So you can change it, and for this example anyways, on TradingView, up here, my left-hand side of the screen, if I highlight over that, I can click this settings icon, and I can go into the inputs, and I can change the length of that. I can make it a 200-day, and that would change the chart and give me, now it's the average of the price over the previous 200 days. People use moving averages for many different things. If we get a break above the moving average, which you can see right in here, somebody might see that as a buy signal. And the opposite, if we get a break below the moving average, like over in here in January of this year, they might see that as a sell signal. So that is one way of many ways people use moving averages. You can add other moving averages to the screen. Popular way would be to add the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. They both can mean different things, and you can trade them in different ways. But a good general rule of thumb is you want to see a stock above the 200-day moving average. That usually indicates that the stock is in a good uptrend, which if we go back to January and 20 up to about 2 years, the SPY was above the 200-day, and you can see it was in a nice trend going from around 300 to, let's call it like 440, 450 before rolling over and heading lower, and it looks like we're at 360 right now. So vice versa, if you want to short the market, you would want the market to go below for this example, the 200-day, and that would be a short entry, and then vice versa. When it breaks back above it, you would close that short and, perhaps get long or something like that. So that is what is on the chart right here. It's a line that represents the previous X amount of days. So the previous 200 days, this is an average of that price, and it ebb and flows around the candles itself on the chart. So we're going to put that back to the 50-day. Let me get to the 50-day. We're going to hit OK, and that should change. There you go. And you can see it's a little bit of a tighter line than the 50-day because it represents a shorter amount of time. So it's closer to the actual price than further away. So kind of moving down on the chart, you'll see down at the bottom of my chart, there's all of these vertical lines that almost look like a cityscape, city high-rise buildings, from far away. These represent volume. So when a stock is traded throughout the day, this is the number of shares traded on that day. And why does it represent that day? Because I think you know the answer. We are on a daily chart. So if this was a weekly chart, which it's not, but it could be, of course, these bars down here would represent 1 week's volume traded for that day, or for that week, excuse me. So Each candle up here on the chart has a correlating volume bar down here on the bottom of my chart. So for this example, which is the 24th of January, it looks like the volume for that day, 252.49 million shares were traded that day. And I get that number by looking right up here under the moving average, which is MA. I have VOL, which is volume. So all of our bars on the screen in the center here have a correlating volume bar down below. So people use volume for a lot of different things. There's a lot of different models out there. Some people like to see lots of volume on a breakout representing lots of buyers. That is just one example of volume, but that is on the bottom of the chart. Also on the bottom of the chart is we have these little D's down here in a circle. It's a blue D and a black circle. That represents the dividend payments. So SPY pays a dividend probably every quarter, and that is just that indicator down on the bottom of the chart. So it looks like SPY has an ex-dividend date of the 17th of June. It looks like the payment is $1.58 and it's payable on the 29th of July. So if you want that data, you can have that on the bottom of the chart. You can get rid of that. You can get rid of the volume bars. You can basically do anything you want on these charts. So if we go up to the top, right up here, it says indicators. We can click that. And within here, we can search or scroll all kinds of different indicators for the charts. We can get rid of the volume. We can add. You can add pretty much anything you would like. And you can also write your own scripts if you want to test out your own strategy. That's getting very deep into charting, but like I said, you can kind of do anything your mind would like to do here. So that is basically a quick rundown of the chart. On the right hand side, pretty important, is the price. So this is a price, basically a price bar over here of where the current price is of the stock. This horizontal green line on my chart represents where the current price is, or where the current price closed, I should say, because the markets are closed right now. So 381.96, it looks like where the price of today's bar was. And that is what that green dotted horizontal line is on the chart. So a quick overview on the right-hand side is you can see pretty much the price hit a top over here in the 480 area. And we can see that by looking right over to the right-hand side. And then we can kind of look down and see, down in the 300s and everything in between. So that is your pricing on that side. So quick overview here is upper left-hand side is our box where we type in our symbol, our ticker symbol, our trading symbol. Right below that, it tells us what that symbol is. It's the Spiders SPY. It's the Spiders S&P 500 ETF Trust. Next to that, it says 1D. That represents it's a one day chart. Above that, we have our box where we can click and change our chart. Daily, weekly, monthly, hourly, 3-minute chart, you name it, they have it. We didn't really cover this in the video, but next to that is we can change your chart style. For most people, a candlestick chart is going to work just fine, but there is different styles. And if you're on TradingView, go ahead and have some fun, mess around it. You can change the colors. You can basically, like I said, do anything you'd like. You can go to hollow candles. You can add a line chart area, just the bars without the candle body, and so on. Next to that is where we were just in here is our indicator box, which is where we can get rid of our volume, our dividends. We can add different things. All kinds of stuff can be done in here. Technicals, financials, depending on what you want on your chart, what you're interested in. Next to that, you have some alert stuff, a bar replay for back testing. So moving on to the chart itself, we have our candles, which are for this example, and like I said, you can make these any color you would like, but green and red is a pretty easy, quick to see whether the price is up or down for the day. These are our candlestick chart, our candlestick bodies, and then since we're on a daily chart, each candle represents 1 day's of trading data. Running below those colorful bars is the moving average. This is the average of the past, of the previous days. And this example, it is the previous 50-day moving average on the chart. But you can make that any time frame you would like. Popular ones are the 50 and the 200-day moving average. Back down to the lower portion of the chart, these are the volume bars. These are the amount of traded stock on that day. Each bar has a correlating, each bar on the bottom of the chart, each volume bar has a correlating price bar up on the chart. So if you have the crosshairs on, which I do on my chart, it's easy to follow that dotted line down and see where the volume is, get a quick visual. And if you look up on the left-hand side, you can see what the volume is for that day. Tells you. And then the D's in the circles just represent the dividends. And if you click it, it'll tell you the data for that dividend, the date, ex-dividend payment, and then you can click on more if you want more info. You can also right-click the chart for some more customization stuff. You can go to settings, you can remove indicators. You can change the colors. Like I said, you can kind of do anything you'd like here. You are a little bit limited if you are not a subscriber, a customer of TradingView. But with the free account, you can do basically way more than most people will even need to do. But if you would like, you can become a customer, a subscriber, and then it allows you to do a little bit more customization stuff on TradingView. But that is a right click of the chart and gives you more options. Over on the right-hand side, we have our price. This represents just the price of where the stock is or has been or could be in the future. There is a lot more to TradingView than just this, but this is just a basic video kind of showing you what's possible with TradingView. You can bring up your ticker symbol, your stock, real quick. Let's say you want to look up ExxonMobil. So we clicked up our left-hand side. We're just going to type in Exxon. Let's see. There it is. Exxon, and it'll pop up what the stock you were looking for is, whether it's available or not. So we typed in Exxon, and it brings up ExxonMobil, and you can see the symbol, which it tells us right here, is XOM. So most people aren't going to know that ExxonMobil ticker is XOM. The trading symbol is XOM, unless you are a, active trader. But if you just type in the name of the company you are looking for, it will pop up with the symbol. And this is the price data for ExxonMobil. So let's go do another one. Let's type in Apple. And there it is, AAPLE. And the ticker symbol, AAPL for Apple. And then we'll do one more. Let's do Amazon. Amazon. And there it is. Our ticker symbol for Amazon is AMZN. Most people probably, won't know that, although it is very close to the actual spelling. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully it shedded some light on, kind of the workings of a stock chart. All the stock chart is, it just represents time and price. And then the period is up to you to choose. So it could be a daily chart over the last week. It could be a weekly chart over the last year. It's just it just represents basically time and price. And then from there, you can go as crazy as you would like, or just keep it very simple. That's all it is. You choose the period and it just gives you the data. You don't have to make it too confusing. Of course, people like to customize their charts or colors, indicators, so they can test models or stuff like that. But just know that it represents time and it represents price. And then from there, you can let your mind or whatever run wild. It also gives you a good visual of, support and resistance, which is getting a little bit more advanced into trading itself. Also gives you a good idea whether the stock is trending up or trending down or trending sideways, at a quick glance. So if we look at Amazon here, let's zoom out past couple of years, you can see that Amazon is, was basically trading sideways for, a long time, couple of years, and kind of has moved down. So if that isn't what you were looking for, then you might say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to buy Amazon. It kind of looks like it's heading lower. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Quick rundown, or maybe not so quick, because video's been on for a while, of kind of TradingView itself and kind of what a stock chart is, and kind of what to look for, maybe different ways to set it up, and kind of what you're looking at when you look at a chart. I know it can be overwhelming or look like very confusing if you don't know what you're looking at. But just know that each individual candle represents a period of time, daily, weekly, monthly, 1 minute, whatever you have it set up. And it just gives you the data for that period, the price data for that period. And then, the volume and the moving averages. And I would recommend, this video is TradingView. So go ahead and go to TradingView and bring up some charts and click around and add some stuff to your chart and delete some stuff, change some colors, check out the price data, and get comfortable with it. And before you know it, you'll be showing other people charts and price data and different stocks and stuff like that. And you will be well on your way to getting comfortable with charts and getting into the markets, which is always a good thing. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this video with somebody perhaps who maybe is a little bit confused about stock charts and how to look at them and what they represent. Send them to your experienced trader friends. Let them check it out too. Share it around. That is all I ask. And have a great evening. We'll catch you guys in the morning for some cryptocurrency videos. Thanks again. Take care and have a great rest of your evening. See ya.